this webinar is about sell online courses using live webinars, right? So in the next 1 hour or so that we have scheduled for you this afternoon, we are going to give you a definitive and structured guide to conduct live webinars and sell more in 1 hour than you did in the entire month. Okay. So one thing I want to make it clear right from the beginning, this particular webinar is also very special to us, since we are going to introduce our newly launched Admingle Academy to all of you, which is a great opportunity for our existing customers to interact more and learn more, so that where we can actually provide more value to all of you. So a disclaimer upfront, this webinar is not to sell anything. While I'm going to explain to you that how you can use the webinars to sell more and more of your courses, but hands down, we are not going to sell you anything in this particular webinar. This is more to see our customers and the community engage with us. And, so Gursevak is also with me. Gursevak Singh is the head of customer success at Admingle. A lot of you, if you are Admingle customer, you might have come across and talked to Gursevak as well. Great guy. He will also be explaining about how we are launching Admingle Academy and what are the benefits for our customers. Right. So before we jump into the topic, let me quickly introduce what Admingle is all about. I'm sure that you might have heard about Admingle. Even if not, no worries. I'll give you a brief about it. So we are a unified platform for training businesses to build their branded online training academy, right? So over the period of last 6 years, since we have been into this market, we have helped over 1,500 training businesses in setting up their online academy. And we have also helped them automate their learners' journey from enrollments to training to certification. We are working at this point, we have around 500 organizations who have their accounts on Admingle and are doing a bunch of different things. Some of them are selling courses online. Some of them, are conducting live classes. Some of them are using it as a learning management system. And, the focus that we have is we want to automate things for them. We want to reduce their manual efforts. I'm sure that if there are still some manual efforts that you might be using in Admingle, our focus is, to remove that and completely do automation around it. We work with some of the largest organizations in training in India. We work with Aditya Birla Group. We work with different edtech companies as well, like Classroom. ISKCON also utilizes Admingle for delivering their spiritual courses across the globe. And a few names, if you ever come across, Data Train, Ask IITians, LawSeco, Inside Ads. So we have a focus that if you have an organization where you're running different type of trainings, doesn't matter whether it's a competitive training, business training, placement trainings, whatever it might be, we want to help you automate and completely launch your online training academy, and that too under your own brand, right? A few words about me. My name is Gaurav Doshi. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Admingle. I'm an ex-Zoho. I worked in Zoho for around 2 years. For some of you who do not know about Zoho, Zoho is one of India's premier SaaS-based organizations. I helped them launch their Zoho books in United Kingdom. Overall, I have been into this edtech industry since last 10 years. I used to do a lot of consulting in utilization of technology in training industry. And overall, in the last 10 years of my journey in EdTech, I have personally consulted more than 4,000 trainers, as well as training businesses in creating and launching their online academy. What are the steps involved around it? What should be the tools that you should be using? So I'd be your primary host, this afternoon. And I also have Gursevak Singh with me, who is going to introduce about Admingle Academy later on in this slide. All right. So basically, before we jump into the topic, one more thing I wanted to know from our customers, from our attendees who are in. How many of you are already using Admingle? I just want to know if you're an existing Admingle customer. Can you please write yes if you're an existing Admingle customer using it in some form or shape? Right. Santi, hi Santi, hi Yogesh, thanks, and hi Vamsi. All right, so we have quite a few customers as well, and we really appreciate, because the webinars, these educational webinars that we want to run, it is supposed to help our customers, existing customers as well, and obviously people who are looking to do something good into the training industry and require different tools that are there. Hi everyone, who are already using Admingle. Really, thank you from the bottom of my heart. So with that, let's jump into today's topic. I'll start with a single sentence. Webinars may just be the game-changing marketing channel you need to dramatically increase sales for your business. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you might already be using webinars, because it's not a new concept, it's an old concept. But this holds a very special position when we talk about the EdTech industry, when we talk about the training industry, when we talk about the online courses. Webinars are the single most important tool in order to sell your courses more. So we'll see into this particular presentation that why I call webinar as a game-changing marketing channel. It has high conversion rates, more much higher than any other channel that you might be using. There are different things, why. Just one second. I think I would request Gursev, please, if you can mute yourself. Okay, thanks. Sorry about it. All right. So let's talk about why webinars basically, work, right? I mean, we have many conversions coming in from webinars for ourselves. A lot of our customers are using webinars, and how do they work? So the single biggest reason, why webinar work is because it provides you an environment in which you can quickly earn the trust of your target audience, right? Because see, let's see, we talk about this webinar, I'm interacting with you with my video on, I'm laying bare, all the pluses and minuses that I have. But what I'm trying to do over here is trying to provide you value, right? When you conduct webinar, when you try to reach out to your target audience with webinar, you are trying to prove to them that basically you are the expert in what they actually want. It sort of creates a trust, right? And first of all, I'm a big fan of free webinars. I personally believe that webinars, especially, when you want to provide value, it should not be chargeable. It should be free of cost. It gives you an opportunity to show to your target audience that if you are able to provide value, so much value free of cost, what additional things are there with you when you actually become their customer, right? So most importantly, keep your webinars free and provide as much value, because the more value that you provide, the more trust is something which you build, and the more trust you build with someone, the more they are able to connect with you. And obviously, I need not say that if the connection is very strong, the sale automatically happens, right? You do not need to do the hard sale, everything which is there. Another reason why webinar is very important, because it gives you an opportunity to educate and interact with your target audience, right? Educate is a very strong word. All of us over here in some shape or form are actually trainers, right? I mean, you are selling online courses. That means you are an educator, you are a trainer. Trainers actually are the best people to actually conduct webinars, I would say, right? Because when you are actually giving value, when you're actually taking the webinar, you just forget about the sales that is going to happen, but you focus on how you can educate and teach your learners or your target audience in a much better way. So it gives you a chance to educate and interact. When you interact with your target audience, you get to understand a lot of things which you might be assuming, right? Which gives you obviously an upper hand in maybe doing the marketing, maybe creating your right course, what is required. And if you do it right, many of your attendees will actually be grateful for the opportunity to become your customers, right? There will be no hard sell. If they actually go on and buy your course, they will be grateful about it if you do a right work into the webinar of it. So moving on, what we are going to cover in this webinar, we are going to cover now. See, I want to just put it across that this is just an overview of how you should structure your webinar, how you should conduct your webinar. Every week, we are going to have more and more webinars coming in through our Admingle Academy, which is going to dive deep into each of these points, which I'm covering today. Today is just the shell of it. So we'll not go deep into each and every topic, but I'll give you a brief overview of what you should expect to do. So first, we'll cover about the benefits of hosting a live webinar. Some of the benefits I already explained to you. We are going to discuss about the summary of equipment and software required to host a live webinar, how you should promote your webinar and maximize registrations. What are some of the channels you should use to maximize registrations? How you should actually structure your webinar presentation. Because remember that this is the crux, right? This is where you actually provide the most value to your attendees. So how you should structure it such that you drive maximum results out of it. And finally, the goal of every sale webinar is obviously to end in a conversion of a student, right? So how you should transition from teaching to selling, right? Or I should say from educating to pitching during your presentation, so that it does not come out very, sort of like a pushy where you're trying to do sell. So how you should do that, some of the tactics around this we will discuss. Okay, so now diving deep into why webinars, right? So just to give you some of the metric I pulled out during the last week for our customers, I was surprised to see that our customers are selling online courses worth more than 4 crores every month using webinar as an acquisition channel. So there are different channels they are using, right? But I was surprised to see that it's more than 4 crores of monthly sale our customers are doing as an acquisition channel using webinars. Some of the examples that I pulled up and I spoke to them how they are doing it. So DataTrain is a great organization in Noida. They are doing like data science courses. They are conducting weekly webinars of their courses, generating more than 250 enrollments every month. And they have huge ticket size. These are not 3,000, 4,000 rupees courses. They are selling like 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh rupees worth of courses. Pentagon Space, again, a Bangalore-based organization doing 500 conversions every month just using the webinars, the power of it. And not just for organizations, there are a lot of individuals who are experts, knowledgeable people. So one of the example I would like to give, Mr. Arindam Chakrabarti, who is the owner of Business Unplugged, where he trains different business aspects to the online people, conducting daily webinar. Some of us are really scared, how you should conduct webinar once a month. But this person, Arindam, is conducting daily webinars and generating more than 500 to 600 members to his community every month. Now, every webinar can have a goal. You need to be very clear what is the goal of your webinar, right? You might conduct webinar for conversions. You might conduct webinar for adding people to your community. It should be very clear, and you should structure your content around that as well. And okay, before we jump into the next slide, a very quick question to all of you. How many of you are actually already using, if you're using webinar as a conversion channel, please type 1. If you're not at all used webinar as a conversion channel, please type 2 in the chat panel. Let's see how many of you are already using, webinar as a channel. Okay, mostly I'm getting 2. 1 are very less. I'm actually surprised, but it's fine. That's why you have joined this particular webinar, I'm sure. Okay, Vinayak, you're using webinar already. Prem, you are going to use webinar, I'm sure, after this particular webinar. All right, so we have maximum people who have not at all used webinar as a conversion channel. And we have some people who are already using webinar as a conversion channel. To the people who are already using webinar as a conversion channel, I just want to understand from you, what is your conversion rate when you conduct a webinar in percentage? I'm sure that you might be tracking it. How many, by conversion rate, what I mean is, if X number of people join the webinar, out of that, how many are you able to convert to an actual sale? Any percentage can you give me? When I have a couple people who are already using webinar, even if it is, I'm going to talk to you that how you can increase your conversion rate, but just a number. All right, so no responses over there. Anyways, that's fine. So, and just another general question, just to expand on it. People who are using different channels, right? Not webinar as a conversion channel. What is the average conversion rate you are getting from different channels for your conversions? 3%, 4%, 5%, any answers over there? Okay, no takers around it. That's fine. I'm going to give you the metrics, what you can expect. So basically moving on to the next slide, right? So when we say best performing conversion channels, especially for online courses, as I'm advocating that webinar is, it really gives you a huge conversion metrics, right? These are some of the numbers which we have tracked from our existing customers and some of the people who are using webinar, not our existing customer. So typically, this is the funnel, how it looks like, right? For example, you start taking the webinar registrations, which is called leads. Then the webinar attendees come, which is called qualification, and purchase of course happens as a conversion. So if you do your registration process, promotion process right, webinar registration to attendees has a conversion rate of 40%. Just to give you a perspective, if there are 100 people who have registered for your webinar, 40% of them are actually going to join your webinar if you are promoting it right. And when they actually join your webinar, it's a qualification for you. And we have seen that there's a whopping conversion rate, which is 50% from the people who attend the webinar to finally end up purchasing any of your course and service, which gives you around 50% of conversion rate from attendees, from qualification rate to purchase of your course, which is conversion. When we see overall from webinar registration to purchase of courses, webinar alone as a conversion channel has 20% conversion rate. Now, this is what I meant by conversion rate. That is, if 100 people are joining or registering for your webinar, how many of them you are actually able to convert? And this 50% is a real number that we have consulted a lot of our customers who are using webinar as a conversion channel. But so interestingly, if you compare it with other channels, when I mean other channels is basically you do Facebook marketing, you do different type of marketing. What we have seen is the average conversion by other channels stands at 4%. These were some of the numbers I wanted to know from you. But I'm sure that we are going to have another webinar, which is going to help you understand how you can track your conversion rates, because tracking conversion rate is very important if you're not doing it already, to be able to understand how your channels are performing. We are going to do a different webinar for sure. After this one, I'll personally take it. So we have 4% conversion channel. You can see the huge difference. So for a lot of people who are just starting to do the online courses, webinar should be the first channel that you should have, right? Because you have to build trust with your customers. You are the topic expert. You need to be able to build a trust with your customers. Some of the other benefits of the webinar, why you should conduct webinar, is basically, firstly, as I explained, you're able to build trust with your audience. And trust me, with so much of competition going on in the edtech market, trust is very important. How people are losing trust with the large players in the market. I won't take specific name, but you all know it. It's time for medium to large scale organizations to be able to build trust with the audience. Webinar is one of the way to be able to do it. Second is you get to attract qualified list for your business. Very important, right? People who are attending your business, people who are giving you the time. Time is basically the biggest asset, biggest thing which somebody can give you. And if they are going to attend your webinar, staying till the end, basically this is something which is a qualified lead for you. So that reminds me just to remind you that please stay till the end, because we have obviously we told you there are unbelievable offers, not to do more sales, but there are actually unbelievable offers which is going to definitely benefit you even in your webinar journey. So stay till the end, because those specific unbelievable offers is only for people who stay till the end with me in this thing. So finally, the third benefit of the webinar is to be able to build your contact list. Now, let's say you run a campaign to get registration for your webinar. Let's say you get 500 registrations for your webinar. Doesn't matter if only 200 people or 100 people are joining in your webinar. But those 500 people, you have got the data of them, right? You got their email address, WhatsApp number, contact number. And then you can utilize that. You can create community around it to keep pushing more and more offers or more and more service that you have. It helps you build the contact list, right? And contact list is very important to be able to do further marketing. So for all these benefits for the people who are still not conducting webinars, I would say just keep everything aside as your conversion channel. Plus, please start doing the webinars. It's going to give you great results, and we are here to help you around it. All right. So coming next, we are going to discuss about the steps to conduct a weekly webinar. Now, see, webinars can be conducted in different durations. Some people do monthly webinars. Some people do weekly webinar. Some people do even daily webinar, right? How to do daily webinar is something I'll discuss later on into this. But the most ideal is basically you should at least conduct one webinar a week. And when you conduct one webinar a week, there's a 3-week cycle that we have seen produce good results. So let's say if T is the time when you're actually going to conduct your webinar, we go 2 weeks back. First step that you need to do is the preparation. So you should start your preparation at least 2 weeks advance to when you want to actually conduct your webinar. Now, what does preparation involves, right? Preparation involves obviously finalizing what topic you want to take the webinar on, structuring the landing page that we'll talk about later on, structuring the promotions, how you'll be doing the promotions, getting the marketing collaterals right, design right, or all those things. It should start 2 weeks back. Second is you do 2 things in parallel. One is you do your registrations, you start your registrations. How do you start your registration is something we'll discuss next. And second, you start promotions as well around your webinar. This should typically start 1 week before the time of the webinar, which is T minus 1 week, which I mentioned. So you keep getting the registrations, you keep doing the promotions to get more registrations. So this cycle should at least go for entire 1 week, right till the end of your webinar is running. Then next is basically during the last 48 hours before you start the webinar, there should be reminders, there should be engagement. Now remember that the people who have already registered for your webinar needs to be kept engaged, right? Otherwise, obviously, this world is a really distracting place. It's a very high chance that people who have, even though they have registered for your webinar, will forget about it, not going to join your webinar. So it's important that how do you engage people? How do you send constant reminders? Not a lot of reminders, but at least something for them to remember that, okay, this webinar is coming in. Then finally, the D-Day comes wherein basically the webinar or the call to action happens, right? So webinar plus call to action is where you conduct your webinar, and then you have a call to action which promotes your attendees to take the next step right after the webinar. And then don't forget that the webinar cycle ends over there, right? Most of the people just take the webinar and forget about it, but the real magic happens in the post-webinar engagement, which typically should start. You should strike when the iron is hot. You should start your post-webinar engagement the day after you conduct the webinar, not delay it. This is very important. And it can go up to 1 week before you conduct your next webinar. This is where you engage with all the people who have attended. You talk to them. They talk to your salespeople. They understand how you can help them, and you do the conversion. This is most important. Even if you delay by 1 day doing this post-webinar engagement, trust me, your conversion rate will significantly come down, because people are in that state of mind where they have attended your webinar, they have already connected with you. This is the time you should actually strike, and you should try to get them on board with you. So these are some of the steps which is there. Talking about the technology equipments and the team that you should have in order to conduct webinar. Now, trust me, guys, all these things are not, if you're taking your webinar to the next level, right? These are not something which is very important when you're just starting out. But when you have it, basically it is more professional, and basically you go all the way in getting more and more registrations around it. So there are multiple things. Talking about that technology, obviously, first you need a marketing service. Very important, right? Without marketing service, you don't, people, when they start webinar, what they do is whatever list they already have, they just do a email campaign or a SMS campaign around it and expect that a lot of people are going to turn up. That is not the only thing which you should do. You should also always have a marketing service which helps you run more ad campaigns, such that new people are coming in to join you, new people are coming to know about you. So there are different marketing services which you can use, right? Some of them which we have used in the past, some of our customers are already using, is something called WebEngage. WebEngage is a wonderful tool. I personally love it, because one of the plans of WebEngage gives you an omni-channel. Now, what do I mean by omni-channel? Because marketing happens in different channels, right? Firstly, you have to send email. Then there is SMS. Nowadays, WhatsApp marketing is also there. You want to run ads on your different social media. So WebEngage gives you an omni-channel thing. You can obviously go and explore that. And it gives you an ability to manage your end-to-end marketing from a single platform. Sendinblue is a lot of our customers are using for doing their email marketing. Pabbly is coming up recently and has a good email service. It is also cheap. You can go ahead and you can explore that. And GetResponse. GetResponse is globally one of the best products to create your sales funnel and do the marketing service over there. And good news is Admingle is in the process to integrate with all of them. So the people who are already using Admingle will all easily be able to use these services right from Admingle itself. So these are some of the marketing services that you should go and explore. Now, as I explained, right, we are not going to go deep into all of these. That is something for another day, another webinar. Just an overview I want to give you. Secondly, selecting microphone and camera. Now, there is nothing wrong with using your microphone of your laptop or camera of your laptop, but it's always good, for much more clarity of, the video, the screen and everything, that you should be using external good microphone and camera. Some of the suggested microphones, because I get a lot of queries that which microphone is best. This is something which I recommend, which is Blue Yeti microphone, which is from Logitech. You should go ahead and explore it on Amazon. It's available. And there's another alternative, which is Blue Snowball, which is a little bit cheaper. Blue Yeti microphone will roughly cost you around 9,500 to 10,000. I'm not sure what the latest cost is, but this is what it is. But Blue Snowball is as cheap as around 4,000 to 5,000 rupees. Now, what it does is it helps you, deliver your message very clearly. It's, it's good where you can try it. Second is the camera. Now, camera, don't go ahead and buy a very expensive camera, which is DSLR camera. You will have much more problems connecting it with your webinar and all those things. You should go for a webcam. And even in the webcam, Logitech HD Pro C920 is a good camera, which costs around, again, 9,500 to 10,000 rupees, which is good web camera, one of the best to get started as well. I've recommended this to many of our customers. They are using it successfully. It gives you good HD recording as well. Now, the next thing is obviously the webinar tool. Now, Zoom is obviously one of the most favorites, which many people are using. We also use Zoom, but some of the other customers are also using something called GoToWebinar. And there is another very interesting tool called eWebinar, right? So we have explored eWebinar a couple of times. The benefit of eWebinar is it helps you automate your webinar process, right? So let's say you begin taking simple webinars using Zoom or GoToWebinar, but you come at a place where you want to automate entire thing about your webinar. When I say automate, basically you run webinar daily. You have to send so many reminders. You have to basically send different communications, do marketing and all those things. eWebinar helps you combine this and automate it for you such that you do not need to keep doing everything manually around it. So you should go ahead and explore eWebinar service as well. And the lastly, most important is team, right? While most of the webinar, a one-man army will work, but you should always consider that you have at least 3 people join along with you while you are taking the webinar. First is obviously the presenter who is going to present the main content. And this can be multiple people, right? One presenter or multiple presenter who want to do. Second is you should always have a coordinator who is an assisting presenter as well. Technology can have glitches, right? The moment you are doing webinar, you realize something is not working and you are not able to continue. There should always be a fallback. You should have a coordinator. You should have an assisting presenter who takes over on your behalf if something goes wrong. And other thing is basically this coordinator also keeps an eye on your different things, right? Setting up the screen, switching on video off, answering any questions or something like that. Third person is not a necessary, not a mandatory, but I recommend that you should have it, which is for Q&A. During the webinar, you should encourage people, and I encourage you to keep posting the Q&A. And a lot of Q&A can be answered by this Q&A person who is handling it right while the webinar is going on. Of course, during the end of the session, Q&A session is something which is there. So this is some of the tools, technology, and something which I recommend. And I promise you that we are going to go deep into each of these things: marketing service, microphone, camera, webinar tool, in different set of webinar series that we are going to conduct. But since we have a limited time, we'll move on from here on as of now. Right. Now it's time for you. Now you have set up everything. Your marketing service is there. You have microphone, camera, tested everything. It's time to start your registrations, right? The single most important thing for your registration is you should focus and have a landing page. Now here, I wanted to add some value around it. How should you structure the landing pages? We'll cover very briefly. Creating a high converting landing page can itself be a huge webinar itself, but I wanted to give a brief. Now you should consider that every landing page or every website has two things. First is something called above the fold. Now, and the second is something called below the fold. Now, what does it mean? Above the fold is the area which you are able to see when you open the site or a landing page without need of scroll, right? Something which I see right in front of my screen, that is above the fold. The fold is something towards the end of the screen. Below the fold is something when people scroll, what should be below the fold? So I'll give you some of the tips of creating high converting landing pages. A lot of people have confusion and end up creating really complex landing pages, which is not at all required. So let's talk about what you should have, mandatorily have above the fold. So first thing is you have to explain the value you provide. And I've also given you a couple of screenshots below. The right side screenshot, which you see every day, is one of my personal favorites. It's very simple, very attractive, and as well as high converting as well. The first thing is you have to explain the value. So if you see, they have written ace the SAT with just 10 minutes of studying a day. So they are communicating the value in the title. Their value is that the person is not going to spend a lot of time trying to learn SAT. Just spending 10 minutes a day, they are able to get the desired results. So they have put it into their title. Then second is you should explain how you will create that value, which is something called your subtitle. So they've written, okay, 10 minutes micro lessons designed to boost confidence and make SAT strategies easy to remember. That's it. A title, a subtitle. Title gives what is the value. Subtitle explains how you are going to create that value. The third important element of a landing page above the fold is let the user visualize it, right? What you write has very little impact, but what you show has huge impact. You should help your users visualize. So which you see on the right side, right, where third is written. So what they have done is they have created a video and posted it. So this gives an opportunity to the user to maybe play the video and listen firsthand, right? Visualize how it is going to happen for them. If you look at the left side, their value proposition is basically they want to have you donate so that they can provide smile to other people. So on the right side in the visualization, they have posted a bunch of images where people are smiling. So it creates a huge impact in the back of your mind, which helps you take a decision as well. So visual content should be there. Fourth is you have to make it believable, right? Whatever you are saying, you have to make it believable. Good way for that is to add social proof, right? People, if you are adding social proof, people know that, there is some value, there's some proof behind the value you are able to create. So if you see at the right side bottom, they have added like 5 out of 5 stars from 700 users. So that creates an instant value, make it believable. And finally, there is make taking the next step really easy, which is called the call to action. So very simply, they have mentioned, get started for just $1, right? So again, you have to be very clearly writing your call to action, not just get started, sign up now, but give them something which helps them make it very easy. So now I know that get started for just $1. I don't have to spend a lot of money in order to get started. And I'll be really inclined and attracted towards clicking on that particular call to action. So these are some of the things which you should have above the fold. Coming to the below the fold thing, right? So now there are another 5 points which you should have. Before we jump into that, have a look at the bottom left thing, right? So where I have created the entire landing page with above the fold and below the fold. So title, subtitle, call to action, social proof. Right side, you can have a visual which is there. Below that, now the next important thing is you have to make your value concrete, right? Above the fold, you have given them everything, have them believe you through social proofs and everything. But now you have to make your value more concrete. This is where you add the features and objections, what you are going to cover during that particular thing, webinar, or whatever sales you are doing. Last is, seventh point is you have to inspire action. Now to inspire action, you should give more social proof. Eighth is you have to tie up any loose ends. How to tie up any loose ends is basically you add FAQs, right? People before they register might be having a lot of FAQ questions, what they're going to get around it. So you should have some predefined FAQs and answer them. Finally, you should repeat your call to action. And the last part, which is very important, I'm telling you, make yourself memorable, right? One of the ways to make yourself memorable is where you put your own note, where you put your founder's note. Put up your image, put up some of the text which help your, audience connect with you in a better way. So these are some of the way. It's not necessary below the fold that you have all this, but you have this structure. It's going to be a high converting landing page for you. Bottom right image, you can relate to it. Basically, you show happy users, you reiterate value, right? People say that join hundreds of businesses who are doing more with email. So this type of statements you can write to reiterate the value which your customers are going to get. Always focus on helping your audience get immediate result, right? Everybody in this world want immediate result. Some immediate result you should highlight that, if you are able to take this, if you are able to attend this webinar, these are the immediate results which you are going to get, right? So something which you should highlight, and second call to action, which is there. So this is a structure of a high converting landing page. Again, I promise we'll do another webinar to go deep into how to structure your landing page, which tools you should use and all those things. But trust me, guys, forget everything. Just follow this particular structure and your landing page will start converting good. Okay, so after the registration page happens, you should have another page which is called thank you page. Thank you page is where basically after you get the registrations on the webinar, people should be redirecting to this thank you page where you thank them basically to register for your webinar or register for your product. And you should give them certain actions to be done. Some of the action is something which I've written on the left side. You should have them add this webinar or add this product or add this event to your calendar. Because if they are able to add this to their calendar, then there's a high chance that they will get reminders from their calendar and they are able to remember that. Second is you should ask your audience to share this on social media, right? Network effects. This is called network effect. Network effect works really well if you are looking for organic conversions. So people who are really excited about it, ask them to share this on social media so that other people in their network can come to know and register for your webinar. Another interesting thing which I have seen a lot of other people doing is they ask user or automatically redirect them to join a WhatsApp group. Now what happens is the moment somebody registered for your webinar, and the next step is I join a WhatsApp group. This is a short thing for you where you have, taken all your attendees at a single place, and WhatsApp is the most, obviously, famous chat application where you can keep on interacting before the webinar and even after the webinar. And finally, you can also ask them to join your community, right? Whether they attend your webinar or not attend the webinar, you can always ask them to join your community so that you can keep on engaging with them in the future. So you should definitely have a thank you page. One of the examples of thank you page which I found is on the right side over here. So registration page, thank you page, and that is how you start registering your people on the webinar. This is something which you should do in the preparation time that I explained. Yeah, so give them option to join a WhatsApp group. This is really effective, guys, especially for students, right? We are dealing with students who basically age from 13 years to upwards of even 40, 50 years for continuous learning courses. For all of them, WhatsApp is one thing which they definitely use day to day. So you should, on the thank you page, you should give them option to join your WhatsApp group where you keep on sharing important resources. You keep on sharing reminders. You keep on sharing products and upsells as well after the webinar. So this sort of creates your preliminary community, which is there. One of the examples I came across when I attended one of the webinar from Growth Schools is they added me into this particular chat group where only admins could post, but they were actually giving me reminders. What am I going to get in this webinar? I was really excited that I should join this webinar to that. So this really works good. for all the customers. Okay, so next is we'll briefly cover. So now it's time you have taken the registrations. It's time for you to start your promotions and sending reminder. Now, what are some of the ways you should promote it, right? First is your email and contact list. This is something which you use using your marketing service, which I was discussing before. So what these marketing services does for you, it asks you to upload all your existing email and contact list, and then they help you run different campaigns on that. Maybe it can be email campaign, it can be WhatsApp campaign, it can be SMS campaign. Omni-channel is something which I was talking about. This should be your first thing where you should start promoting, because the people who are already in your contact list are the people who trust you in some way or format. They have given you the consent to send them any marketing thing. So you can actually leverage it. Second is, especially Facebook and Instagram ads work really well. A lot of customers I talk to, what they try to do is when they start doing the webinar, they try to set up a bunch of different social media tools right in the first go. I would not recommend that, right? Because see, every channel has its own ifs and buts. Every channel it's not a constant marketing which runs on all channels. You should be very specifically doing it. So Facebook and Instagram is one of the good places where you start. Important thing is you run it on the first go, you track your conversions, you do the improvements, and only then keep on adding different marketing channels into your particular promotions. Social media, of course, you should always maintain your social media channels on LinkedIn if you are a professional trainer, Facebook, and all those things, where you keep posting about these, promoting your webinars, which is going. The last two are something which can help you take to the next level. You should have guest blogging done around your webinar, right? And you should have promotional partners and joint ventures. To give you an example, let's say if you have a lot of partners who think that their audience might be interested in your webinar, you should always keep on asking them to promote your webinar. And even, if the conversion comes from their promotion, you can give them some sort of cut to them as well. Such partnerships you can make. But what this does is not just your network, but even your partner's network, you are able to get more and more registrations towards you. So it's always work best in joint ventures as well. So these are some of the ways in promotions. Again, we'll go deep into exactly how to promote your webinars in our upcoming webinar, which is there. Lastly, reminders, right? Now you want to send reminders. You do not want people to forget about it. One thing which I missed to explain to you in the timeline, which I was showing you before, typically people ask that how much time before your actual webinar you should start the promotion. So basically I explained that you should not start promoting your webinar typically before 4 to 7 days of your webinar. The reason is, again, as I say, world is a place where a lot of distractions are there. People will forget even if they register for your webinar. 4 to 7 days window is good, where you promote and where you remind your people to join your webinar. How many reminders you should send? Typically, I recommend that you should send four reminders. First is you should send it 2 days before the webinar start time. Second is 1 day before. Third is 2 hours before or 1 hour before, doesn't matter. And the final reminder you should send right after the webinar starts or 15 minutes before the webinar start time. And consider these reminder emails not just as a reminder email, but a way and an opportunity for you to keep on reiterating the value that you are going to give to your customers. Don't just simply write email content, okay, the webinar is going to start in 2 days, see you there. Nothing like that. You should mention that, and you should also reiterate the value. Okay, you are going to get this, we are going to get this people is doing this. All those value additions and proof building you should keep on doing for the reminders, so that it excites your end attendee to be able to attend that webinar as well. Okay, so coming to the main crux of your webinar, how you should structure your webinar presentation. Again, very important, right? Because this is where you provide, the actual webinar content which is there. So typically a good webinar ends around 1 hour, because if it goes beyond 1 hour or 1.5 hour, it's not a webinar, it's a workshop, right? Where a workshop is typically longer. It can be multiple days, even 1 day, 2 hour, 3 hour. But a webinar is simply around 1 hour or 1.5 hour maximum. How you should structure it is, first 5 to 10 minutes before the webinar start time. Be very careful. Before the webinar start time, you should do meet and greet, right? So there are a lot of people who join your webinar early. You should meet and greet. You should ask them a few questions, where are they from? What are they doing? Whether they are your existing customer, all those things, meet and greet you should do. You should introduce yourself very quickly. So first 5 to 10 minutes, engage your audience who have joined your webinar early, because very few people actually join webinar early. It's good to build rapport with them as well. First 5 minutes you should use to do introduction about yourself, introduction about maybe what you do. Along with it, the next 5 minutes you should use to tell your story and credibility building. Now, see, the people who are joining your webinar, you obviously want them to stay till the end. If you want them to stay till the end, you have to build some credibility. The people who are attending your webinar should know that, okay, whatever this person is going to say, it is coming from his experience, it's coming from his expertise, and it's worth their while to spend this 1 hour. So you should do this credibility building thing very importantly. Now, the next 30 minutes is the main content. This is the single word which you should focus over here is value, value, value. You should provide maximum value within the next 30 minutes, as much as you can do, because this 30 minutes value which you provide, the actual content of your webinar, is the trust building part with your attendees. And the better you do this main content, the better you do this value proposition, the last 10 minutes, which is the pitch, the actual pitch where you sell your product, where you introduce your course, is going to be as easy as you think if your main content, the trust building part, goes really well. And the final 15 or 10-15 minutes you should keep for Q&A, where you give an opportunity to your attendees to ask any questions that they might have. Again, Q&A are a great way for them to interact with you directly and build some rapport around it. So typically you can obviously I can share you the deck as well, and recording will be shared after this, but you should remember, you should structure your webinar, start structuring your webinar in a similar fashion. Don't directly go into selling. Don't directly also go into the main content. The first 3 things are also very important, especially second and the third thing where you do your introduction. Now transitioning from educating to selling. Okay. Now see, whatever I explained to you over here, transitioning from educating to selling is not going to be easy if you have not done your job of educating them properly. Okay. So basically I have just noted down a few points. Let me just open it. Yeah. So see, what you should do. First thing is, in the content part, you have focused on their pain points, right? Obviously, whatever you are telling them is explaining them that, okay, you have certain pain points, right? And you want certain things, something which you have established in the first 30 minutes. So first thing that you should do in transitioning is you should introduce your course. Now, how you should introduce your course is you should show your course as a perfect solution to their pain points or requirements, which we have been discussing in the last 30 minutes. Because if you do it in that way, it does not come up that, okay, you are just trying to sell that course, but it seems that you are trying to give them a solution to the pain point, which you have already explained to them in the first 30 minutes. That is number one. Show them in the course introduction, you should have a landing page of the course as well ready. You should show them, okay, what is included in this course. Include some testimonials. Testimonials, something which is a good social proof. Get your testimonials from other students, video testimonials or other things which you should show that, okay, these are the testimonials you have got for this particular course. Also explain to them if your courses are placement courses or examination courses, show them results. How many placements you have helped using this particular course? How many of your students have achieved, let's say, X rank in your competitive examinations? So you should have such points ready. Then what I've mentioned on this particular slide is you should give them. Now, see, you are trying to sell them, right? So you should give them some sort of satisfaction guarantee. Now, what I've seen multiple people do is, okay, you purchase this course within the next 10 minutes or you do not get the offer. Yes, while it creates an urgency and you should try to do it, but if you are doing it, offer them a satisfaction guarantee. What I mean by satisfaction guarantee is, if you ask them if you are going to purchase this course in the next 10 or 15 minutes, if you do that, ask them to do it, get the discount and tell them that you have, let's say, a 30 days of refund policy, 30 days money back guarantee, no questions asked, right? A lot of people start thinking that, okay, this might have a huge impact. People might start asking for refunds. But trust me, guys, a very small percentage of your customers actually ask for refund, unless until your service that you're giving is totally not making sense to them, right? So, but what it gives to the other customers is a confidence, right? To be able to take a decision right there, right then, keeping a peace in the mind that, okay, even if I don't like it, which is a very small chance from your side, they are going to ask refund. So you should offer a satisfaction guarantee, maybe in the form of, 30 days, 15 days, money back guarantee. No terms and conditions over there. Second is basically, you should leave your offer page open during your Q&A session, right? So you have introduced them to the offer. Keep that open while you are doing Q&A, because people need to take decision. They want to see your offer page. What is it, right? You should include time sensitive bonuses for buying. Now, some of the ways to do time sensitive bonuses is either you can ask them to take a decision in a time bound, or you can also tell them the first 20 or first 10 customers get this special discount. It also creates a time sensitive bonus that I need to purchase it. And I have a 30 days money back guarantee, so I don't worry about it. I can quickly take decision. If your courses are high costing, let's say 70,000, 50,000, even 1 lakh, 2 lakh, you should offer a payment plan. Not a lot of your other attendees might be able to pay you upfront. Offer them a payment plan, one monthly, quarterly, or whatever you can come up with. And then offer them, obviously, lastly, which everybody does, is offer them a discount, which can be time sensitive or which can be specific, especially for people who have attended your webinar. So this gives them a confidence that, okay, you should attend their webinar so that you can get good offer around it. So this is how typically you transition from educating to selling. Now, the most important part is it does not end over there. You have to engage your users post your webinar. Now, to engage your post webinar, as I was mentioning, you should immediately do it specifically immediately 1 day after your webinar ends, 24 hours after your webinar ends. You should send them replay emails. Now, a lot of people might not attend your webinar due to various reasons. You should send them your video recording, because so that they can also get that email, get to see your video. And if you're running offers for them as well, they can avail those offers as well. So typically you should send 3 emails for sending your recording and other things. First email should be sent, or message should be sent immediately as soon as your replay is available. The moment the recording and everything is available, you should send this, where you ask people to get to have a look at the recording and take action. You should always have a call to action that, okay, we had introduced this offer, which is valid for, let's say, 5 days or 7 days. This is an opportunity for you that the offer is expiring and you should take it up. Second replay email, maybe you should send 24 hours after the live webinar, the replay reminder, first reminder is sent. You should highlight the fact that the offer is expiring now. You should remind the fact that, okay, thanks for attending. If you're not attended, this is the recording, and you should take some action around it. And finally, 1 day or 2 days before the offer is expiring, you should send your third message or reminder. Not more than this. This is not required. A lot of you are also having counselors and salespeople, right? So now you have the contact list. People have registered for your webinar. They have given you email contact. Have those counselors give those people a call who attended the webinar 24 hours after the webinar. Do not delay it, because that is where you get to ask them feedback from your attendees, that how was the webinar? What did you like the best? How you can improve. Basically, you are taking feedback from them, which not only is helping you improve your future webinar, but you can also ask them if they want to take any offers or if they want to take any action after this based on your webinar. So this is something which you should do, have your counselors and salespeople do. Important thing is you should have your product landing and sales page ready. You should have your coupon codes ready. If you are using some sort of, maybe even if you're using Admingle for selling your courses, you should have your coupon codes, product landing page and everything. You should be ready so that you can give it right on the email or right on the feedback call. Right. So I think that's it from my side. This is something, very briefly, which I wanted to share about the webinar. So I hope my job in this particular webinar was to encourage you to think about doing webinars. As you know, initially I got responses from a lot of customers that they're still not using the webinar. Trust me, guys, I assure you, webinar can become the single most important acquisition channel for you. If you're just starting out, you will forget about the other channels, and webinar will become all of your marketing. Let's say you're doing webinar, you should do your Facebook marketing, you should do your contact list marketing around that webinar. That gives an entry point for your attendees. From therein, the conversions will become really easy. And again, remember the conversion rate. While other channels are giving 4 to 5% average conversion rate, now I'm talking about average conversion rate. Your webinar can actually give you as high as 20 to 25% of conversion rate. So I implore you again to explore this. Get in touch with me if you have any questions for conducting webinar. With that, very special news from our side. I'm going to transfer this to Mr. Gaurav, who is head of our customer success, who is going to give you an introduction to our Admingle Academy, which is another step that we are taking to empower our customers, to provide more and more value to our customers, because we really believe, we really want you guys to get success. That is how we are going to get success around it. So Gursevak, I request you to please take it ahead.
All right. So hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, Gaurav, for such valuable information. I've just shared my screen. Just let me, just give me a thumbs up or say yes in the chat if you can see my screen. All right, great. So again, before we move forward to the Admingle Academy, I just want to take a moment to tell you all about myself. My name is Gaurav Singh. I'm working as a head of customer success at Admingle. Now, I've been in the industry for 10 years. I've had the privilege to work with domestic, international clients, and I've had the experience of leading the customer success and the customer support teams. The main responsibilities that I'm handling in Admingle is that I'm assisting the customers to onboard to a platform and even adopt a product so that they'll be able to create their online presence and reach out to the users. Now, as Gaurav mentioned that we are going to launch Admingle Academy, and before we move on to the yeah before we move on to the Admingle Academy, the aspects or basically the intent of introducing the Admingle Academy was that we just wanted to we've been putting our customers at first, right? And we've we've had a lot of support mediums available as of now. As you all know that a lot of clients are here who are using Admingle panel, and they know that what kind of support mediums do we have. Now we already have the knowledge based articles in which we've explained all the features that we have, how to set up the academy, how to set up the DLT registration, how to enable international selling and everything. Apart from that, we've got a support team and onboarding team to help you out. When you're new to the panel, when you're onboarding to our platform, our team reaches out to you. We explain the portal to you, and after that, even if you're facing any kind of challenges, our support team is always there to help you out. Now, we've been we've been hearing this from a lot of our clients that they do have the feasibility to reach out to the support team and even to the go through the knowledge base articles, but they did want something where they can there should be a website where the client can go to, and as per their own convenient time, they can look at the videos, they can join the webinars, right? So taking that into perspective, we have launched this at Admingle Academy. Now, what exactly this will do? This is a valuable addition that we've done in our support mediums. It will enhance your user experience. It will be a very easy way to understand the product, because we will be adding a lot of self-paced courses which will take you through the admin panel and even the front end. Apart from that, you'll be able to go through the articles, go through the videos, and even join the webinars in your own convenient time. So as far as the effectiveness is concerned, it will be very effective for you. Now, before let's talk about the aspects of Admingle Academy. Now, today, we have taken a webinar. So this is something that which we will be involving in our Admingle Academy panel. You'll be able to see the list of all the webinars that we will be conducting in the futures. Apart from that, the self-paced courses that we will be adding to our panel. So it will not only be about the webinars will not only be about sales and marketing. It will not only be about how to sell your courses during webinars, but there will be videos which includes the product the product adoption as well, so that you can go through the videos and set up your admin panel all by yourself, right? So as I mentioned that we've got a lot of features available in our panel, and I know that it can become a bit tedious when you join a onboarding call. It's very the information is not to take in, right? That's why we will be adding a lot of self-paced courses, which includes course setup, batch setup, website, building your website using the website builder that we have. And apart from that, we will also be including the workshops. Now, as Gaurav just mentioned that a webinar is basically which is of 1 hour only, or at max 1.5 hours, but it only gives you the information that how to implement everything, right? But in the workshop, you do get to take part along with the host, and you can basically have hands-on experience. So this will also be included in the Admingle Academy. Now, let me take you to the Admingle Academy once. This is basically the URL that we have, www.admingle.academy. So once you click on it, this will be the landing page that you will come to. As you can see, that this is basically the Admingle Academy page, right? First of all, we've shown you we have the motto above, that is create, teach, grow, right? As you scroll down, you'll be able to see the list of webinars that we have, or that we will be conducting in the future. Now, the first webinar that I was talking about was the product onboarding webinar. This webinar conducts, we conduct every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. It doesn't matter which plan you have with Admingle, or even if you do not have any plan, you just want to see that how exactly the platform works. You can just click on this link and register yourself to the webinar, right? Apart from that, this is the webinar that we are having right now. After this, as Gaurav mentioned, that we will be conducting a series of webinars, right, through this Admingle Academy, and we will be posting all the webinar information over here. So we'll be giving you the registration link, and you can join it. You can register it. Even if you were not able to join it, we will be sending you the recording so that you can go through it as per your convenience. Now, Admingle Academy is not only about showing the list of courses that we have, or basically the webinars that we will be conducting, but we also give you a chance to reach out to our support team if you think that the answers are still not available for you. So we have given you the WhatsApp link over here. You just have to click on it, and you'll be able to chat with our support team. Apart from that, we've even given you the support link over here, the support email address. Just send an email, and as soon as the support team will get it, they will get in touch with you, or they will they'll be help you to resolve the problem. Now, if you think that you are ready to go with the you're new to the platform, you've understood that how Admingle panel works, how you will be able to reach out to the customers of yours, right? You can have a free trial. We allow the prospects to get started with Admingle. We provide a 14-day trial. So if you think that you're ready, you just click on this, and you'll be able to register yourself. You'll be able to create your online academy, right? Apart from that, we've given the resources as well. This is the Admingle website, the link to the Admingle website, and the last is the knowledge base articles. So this is basically the portal where we have defined all our knowledge base articles. You just have to click on the knowledge base, and you'll be able to see the bifurcation of the section that we have created. So this is how the Admingle Academy will work. As of now, we have restricted the users to sign in or basically sign up. But as soon as we have the self-paced courses ready with us, you'll be able to join it for free. Now, getting back to the presentation. So as I've just taken you through the Admingle Academy website, I just wanted to share the highlights as well. So as of now, we've done a webinar regarding the sales, how you can use webinar as a tool to enhance your sales. Just like these, we'll be having a lot of webinars through Admingle Academy, and you'll be hearing the insights from the trustworthy source. It's not about we're just sharing information just by the sake of it. Gaurav mentioned that we have taken the inputs from the trustworthy sources, and after that we are sharing it. So you'll not only be learning or hearing from the Admingle team, but we will be onboarding a lot of industry experts to have a call with you. Now, apart from the webinars, we will also take you through the workshops so that you will be having the hands-on experience, right? It's not just we have given you the tool, we have told you about the tools, we have told you about the things that can boost your sales. No, we will also be conducting workshops so that you have the hands-on experience, and you should be able to join us and use the tools to increase your sales and everything. Now, the Admingle Academy is not only about existing customers or the new customers, right? Right. You can go to the website, you can enroll to the self-paced courses. But if you think that you have not made up your mind yet, you still need to see that what exactly Admingle is. How can you set up the courses? How can you set up the academy? How can you set up the websites? You can join the recurring webinars that we have. You can join the courses that we will be launching soon, so that you have the understanding. You can see that how exactly Admingle is better than the other products which are there in the market, right? And it's completely free of cost. You can join the webinars without any cost. Now, apart from the webinars where we talk about sales, marketing, and everything, you will be having webinars related to product onboarding, and basically about the features as well, because every month we release new features. So we will be conducting webinars related to that as well, where we take you through the new features, how to implement those, how those features will be beneficial for you guys, right? And I know that the visual aid, basically the video tutorials and the and the webinars work better than just plain text, right? I know that going through an article, a tedious article, could be tedious. You should, it takes a lot of patience to go through the 1,000 word article and then implement it right away, right? So that's why we are working on this path. We will be creating a lot of video tutorials for you guys. Now, as I mentioned that it is available to anyone, right? New clients, but again, there will be many benefits related to the different categories. New clients, you'll be able to get quick onboardings. You'll be able to get the video tutorials, which will help you to create your Admingle Academy and the presence online. You do not have to wait for the onboarding team to be with you every time. You do not have to wait for the knowledge-based articles to go through them and then implement it. You'll be having the video with you, right? Existing clients, right? As I mentioned that we implement a lot of features, we add a lot of features to a product. So we will be conducting tutorials and the knowledge-rich webinars, which will allow you to implement those features, and we will also let you know that how these features will be able to help you to expand your business, right? And again, the last is the curious people, right? If you have not made up your mind yet, you need to understand that how exactly Admingle will be able to help you out to reach out to the multiple users, thousands of users out there. You can understand the platform through this academy, and if you are ready, whenever you're ready, you can you can get started with Admingle, right? Again, so there's something which I would like to inform everyone here. We will be conducting quarterly business reviews. This is an aspect which we will be launching for our enterprise and premium clients. Now, how exactly quarterly business review will be beneficial for these clients is that we will be talking about product performance reviews, right? We will be talking about the ROI that have been generated for the clients by using the Admingle panel, right? We will even talk about the client's future goals. How are they thinking to expand their business? What are the objectives, and how Admingle can walk in parallel with them so that they will be able to achieve their objectives and goals. And also, we will be sharing the product roadmap, the features that we will be including in our panel, and even discussing their goals, their objectives. We might be able to tweak the roadmap as well, so that we allow our customers to expand. So this is something which will be coming really soon for all our enterprise and premium clients, right? All right, so we've talked about Admingle, we've talked about Academy. I just want to highlight one of the customers of the week. This is Ayush Shakti. They have been using our our services from quite long, and just now they have created their their website using our Admingle website builder. As you can see, this is basically the home page, and I like to mention that they have created a website within a week, right? And it does not take too much of time to create a website, create a website using the builder that we have. It's really easy, it's really adaptive, right? And I would like to mention one thing over here, that using this website builder, using our panel, this client have gone international, and basically the sales is in dollars, and including apart from Ayushakti, there are many clients which are using our international selling feature and have gone international, and their sales is in thousands of dollars. So as you can see that this is basically the homepage that they've created, and this is the course landing page. So you can see that how how catchy the website can be. You can create it easily using a website builder.
Thank you all again for joining and staying till the end. I see there's 100% attendance, which is a really, I appreciate you all guys for joining in. So on this page, you will find some information on how to reach us. You can have a contact number. If you want to have a look at which plan might suit you, you can contact our salespeople on this contact number or email address. We also have mentioned our WhatsApp. If our existing customer wants to have this WhatsApp number for communicating with our support team, you can note it down. And we are completely open into our office. If any people from Bangalore or from anywhere else wants to visit our office, we are 100% open for you. You can obviously come and meet us at any point of time. We'll be really glad to do that. So finally, before we just wrap it up, thank you all again for joining in. I hope we were able to do some decent job trying to help you understand how webinar works. would love to hear your feedback and would love to see you all again in the future webinars that we will conduct. So with that, thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Gurseva, for presenting along with me. Thank you, Devapam, for handling the Q&A and the other logistics of the webinar. See you all again. I'm going to end this webinar now. Thank you.